Yay, the kids are finally asleep.
So do you feel like...
Playing a game?
I've got a feeling a boss fight's coming up.
Ooh, I just got wrecked.
Headshot, baby.
Ooh, it's your turn to get the baby.
So are you up to the challenge?
Run, 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 run.
And we're dead.
That's when I realized I have no idea what I'm doing.
GG.
Welcome to another episode of the Gamer Parents Podcast. This is episode 54. And if this is your first time here, my name is Joanne and I'm joined by my co-host and wonderful husband, Kevin.
Hello there.
So we are parents who game and gamers who parent. We have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. And while they're asleep, that is when we get the chance to game and have fun. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this in earlier episodes this year, but I just realized and remembered this time that it has been a year since we did our podcast, Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your thoughts? Like, let's take a walk down the memory lane of when we first started doing this. Like when you came to me and go, "Hey babe, I think we should make a podcast." Well, you don't sound like that, but I just thought like it was crazy, and I just want to know what was on your mind when you thought about that, or kind of putting you in the spot right now, like
Yeah, especially with that voice. And I don't know, I feel like I have to talk like that now, but yeah, so it's a year ago and a week or two since we started the podcast. So we just had our 1-year anniversary.
woohoo,
Or birthday. I don't know what you're supposed to call these.
woohoo.
But anyways, regardless, an amazing, awesome milestone that we've been doing this for a year now. Definitely still feels like we are new at this.
Definitely.
And figuring things out. But then again, I also think back to how things were when we started off and how much things have changed. I know we started this whole thing as an activity for two of us to do together, so we could have some common goals outside of just, work and kids.
Remember, like, we just felt like we were stuck in that loop of talking about kids or work, and I know we are more than that. So I definitely think like this podcast added that flavor to it, like something in common, which is our hobbies in gaming.
Yeah, I mean, just life can sometimes get kind of stale when it's, get home from work and it's how was work and how are the kids and, this or that about the kids. It was like, we'll have like something different that we can work on together, our own little like side project.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just thinking back to how things were when the podcast started and how we used to do game reviews every single week. We probably did that for a good month or two, and then it was too much to try and play a different game and review it every single week. It didn't really leave any time for anything else on the podcast. So we, pretty quickly made that every 2 weeks.
Yeah. And
then now it's just kind of whenever we have a game to review, but we don't force it necessarily. So we've done a few since then. But, that also allows more time for us to do other things, do what we, really want with the podcast. So,
and also, like, I feel with the 2 weeks gap between game reviews, it allows us to enjoy the game more rather than like, okay, we got to do this game in 7 days. Let's see how much we could play this game, like.
Yeah, and some weeks are busier than others, and sometimes we just wouldn't get enough time in to play it, or we would basically have to force ourselves to, and at that point, it just wasn't as fun anymore. So I think this is definitely more relaxed, and I think it's noticeable too. So we kind of review a game when we're ready to review the game.
Exactly. Also, do you remember what our podcast was called originally?
Yeah, we did go through a name change there in the middle.
So at first it was KJ After Dark, and then it kind of had a negative connotation to its name, I guess, because of the After Dark part. Originally, we thought like we'll name it that because KJ is our initials.
Kevin and Joanne.
After dark is like after the kids go to bed at night. But then, yeah, it kind of sounded weird when you had to answer some people at work about our podcast name and stuff, right?
Yeah, well, not just there. Pretty much anybody when you kind of tell them about that, they're like, "Oh, is this safe for work?" kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Or is there extra stuff I don't really know about you? Like, I'd be like, "No, it's totally safe.
Yeah.
It could be a little misleading," and so that ultimately what led to the name change.
Yep. And now we're known as the Gamer Parents Podcast, GPP.
Yeah, GPP.
And it's easier that way because everyone knows what Gamer Parents Podcast is.
Yeah, it makes a lot more sense to me. I think it was a good change, definitely.
It was. But I'm not changing our Nano Leaves design though.
Oh no, that stays KJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what do you feel like changed the most about yourself since doing the podcast?
I think we've learned a lot, and I would say I'm not as worried or stressed out about kind of like hitting a certain metric or, making sure we do things exactly a certain way. I feel like we have figured out what's worked for us between then and now and what is okay kind of to letting go a little bit.
As for me, I feel like what changed most from since we first started the podcast was in terms of confidence or even like just talking more. Like I know in the beginning, I'm kind of like nervous about how it sound on the mic and my accents.
Yeah,
and
nobody likes their own voice, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but I mean, I got used to that. I've learned to embrace it as part of the originality and the uniqueness of the podcast in itself, And also, I feel like it's built our relationship and even like the fun stuff we do on the podcast, like conversation starters and stuff like that. So,
Well, not to mention that because of the podcast, we end up gaming more together, which
Yeah.
means more co-op games, which means, more teamwork and communicated oriented games versus I think before it was probably a little more often where like I would be in here gaming and you would be doing something else, right? Or like maybe vice versa. So it kind of, not that we would necessarily not spend as much time together if it wasn't for this, but I think it kind of makes us work together more
yeah.
and do more stuff together, which is good. It's ultimately that's a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. Also, I read somewhere before that guys are more open to like talk about their day and stuff like that during a shared activity versus us ladies who just want to go in and talk about something. So, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So that is our first year anniversary of podcasts. I'm sure there's going to be lots of change as well as we go through this learning process, right?
Yeah, so we are now in our second year of podcasting, and I'm sure we'll still have plenty of changes and obviously a lot of stuff that happens along the way, but the first year was amazing, and I think the second year is going to be even better.
Exactly. So, that aside, how was your week in life and gaming?
Yeah, so I'll start off with life. So in life, I don't think we brought it up before on the podcast, but the last few months, we've kind of been dealing with some plumbing issues at our house. So basically, one of our toilets were unusable, and we had a plumber come out, and this was a couple weeks ago, and he was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you have a break in your pipe, and it's right in the middle of your house, and we'll have to drill through your floor, and it's going to cost a ridiculous amount of money.
I know.
And for a little while there, we were like, oh, shoot, like, how are we going to do this? So we're just going to have to live without, one of our bathrooms, or, how are we going to handle all this? So it was kind of scary and worrisome. But then the plumber came back out a couple of days ago, and he was like, he checked everything again, and he's like, oh, no, you're fine. I was wrong before. Everything looks perfectly fine. So I don't know how we went from one thing to the next, but regardless, that was really good news that there wasn't a problem. And then the issue with the, plumbing wise, he was able to figure it out, but it was just an unidentified object in one of the pipes.
Wait, I think it could be called UFO.
Yeah. a UFO, an unidentified
Flying object, but this is floating
floating object. Okay, unidentified floating object stuck in our pipes, which basically made one of the toilets not run very well. So
Yeah.
so he was able to get that out, or I guess push it through. So now everything works perfectly fine. We'll just never know what was in there. It'll be the grand mystery of our house of what that was in there for probably months. And so now everything works great, and it is a huge relief.
It is for me too.
I mean, this is something that's been going on for months, and we basically had to use one of our kids' restrooms
Yes.
whenever we needed to. So now we have our own back for the first time in a long time. So it's a huge relief.
And I don't know if anyone else could relate to this, but at night, for some reason, like I would wake up like a couple times at least in the middle of the night to use the restroom. And when we have problems in our bathroom, in our toilet, I had to like decide whether I want to walk all the way to our kids' bathroom at night or just sleep in the guest bedroom where it's closer, to the usable restroom. So it was stressful, especially on my part, because I'm a potty goer at night.
Yeah, just imagine if you were pregnant during this time too. That
Yeah,
would have been
OMG.
even more so.
Yeah, exactly. That was horrible. I remember when I was pregnant, I would go every hour at least, or maybe every couple hours, but still, it was horrible.
Yeah, it's kind of seems like a while ago, but
Yeah.
yeah, you had to go through a lot with all that. So
I'm glad it's fixed.
yeah, and I'm just kind of wondering if maybe it was one of our kids that put something down the toilet that got stuck or what. We have no idea.
Maybe they want to see if their fish could float in there, the toy fish.
Yeah,
I
like
mean.
Blippi's sink or float.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Their favorite experiment.
Dylan loves that. So I don't know. Who knows? We will never know.
Who knows?
But the issue is fixed, and we were super happy about it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, this week in life, we had another birthday party to go to. I know we went to one last week.
I know.
And we went to one this weekend.
It never ends.
It never ends. When you start to meet other parents with kids, or when people you're already friends with start having kids, and then they have birthday parties. So we went to a 1-year-old's birthday party yesterday.
And it was grand. It was so grand.
It was cool. They had it at a clubhouse. There was a playground, a few different ones, kind of.
Yeah. I mean, there's the clubhouse playground, and then they have this soft play area that, where they cordon off like an area for the kids to play.
And cake, and lots of balloons, and
cupcakes,
and
pizzas,
cookies, pizza, all kinds of different food, and a photo booth.
Oh yeah. That was the icing on the cake.
We got plenty of photos, so that was cool.
And the fun part about that photo booth was like it actually printed out pictures as well as send digital copies to your phone. I was like, dang.
Yeah, that's pretty high tech. That was a high quality photo booth.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure. But yeah, that's all for me on the life front. In gaming, though, it's been more Marvel Snap as usual. I think I'm doing a little bit better than I have prior weeks, but not a whole lot of change. I'm kind of just doing enough to get my missions done, not really doing anything more than that. And then been playing some God of War, not much. I did a little bit last night. And man, I tell you, I spent probably 2 hours trying to beat one boss because I'm playing it on the hardest difficulty. And it was rough.
Yeah.
It took me a while to really get it down, and there was a few times I got extremely close and like just couldn't finish them off until I finally did. It was later in the evening, and I was like, yes, like I did not waste the night. I finally beat that boss. And then I went to sleep, and so it's progressing very slowly in that game, just because of the difficulty, because I'm not that good anymore.
That's what happens when you go, give me God of War.
Yeah. Kind of regretting that a little bit. I don't know if it was the best idea, but I don't know. We'll see. What I'm afraid of is I go through the difficulty of like making it this far into the game, and then I'm just like not able to beat one of the last bosses, who's probably, I'd imagine, would be the harder bosses at the end of the game, right? So it's just getting harder and harder for me to kind of keep pushing forward, and so I hope I don't hit a wall. Yesterday almost felt like a wall, and that was the closest I've been to just like, you know what, screw it, like give me story mode and make everything super easy, and I can just beat this game in a breeze. But yeah, I'm still pushing forward with the difficulty settings, so we'll see. Hopefully I finish it sometime this year.
I know. I was gonna say that at this rate, we'll never play Elden Ring.
I know. I do want to play that next, and I think I'm getting pretty far into it. I don't know how close I am. I have no idea, but I have done a lot, so I don't know exactly how long the game is, but I know I'm making progress.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Also this week, a little bit of WoW. The only thing new that I did in that game is beat the last boss of the current raid, which is what's his name, Razageth?
Yep, Razageth.
Yeah, a big lightning dragon, nasty looking mean guy, and did it on the easiest difficulty, which is just the raid finder. So it's not that much of a feat, but it was cool. Like I got to experience at least got to see the last boss and stuff. You know, and next would kind of be to try and do something on normal, but that's a little bit harder and longer to actually get through.
Gotcha. Well, was it the whole wing that you beat, or you just went in for the last boss?
I just went in for the last two bosses, because you
Gotcha.
can like queue for different wings at a time. So now in total, I've done all of them in that raid finder difficulty now. But yeah, so at least I've gotten to see everything, which is good.
The cinematics, yeah.
Yeah. I got the ending cinematics, which was kind of cool. You kind of get a hint of what's coming next, and probably the next big patch or update. But that's enough of WoW, because I didn't really do anything else. In Fortnite, we played some of that. We actually streamed that last Tuesday over on Twitch.
And we played it was
fun. Yeah, we kind of worked out to join up with a couple of other online friends.
Yeah.
And it was actually our first time being able to play anything with them.
Yeah.
Especially Fortnite. And that was a lot of fun. We got pretty close. We did good. They helped teach us more about the game, because we are not very experienced with Fortnite.
Exactly.
So we learned a little bit, and I got to have a really good time all at the same time.
Yeah.
And the only other thing that I did this week was played one session of Mario Party with our son Dylan.
Aww.
Which was fun. So he's our 4-year-old. We did Mario Party. We did a little bit of just a normal board game style mode, and then we did a lot of what is it, the one where you're like in like a raft or something?
Oh yeah, I forgot the name of it. I haven't played it for a while, but I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, where you're actually on a team, and you have to like, you know, paddle through these, you know, rapids and get the balloons, so you do mini games, and then it gives you more time, and you see how far you can get. And I feel like we did pretty darn good. So I mean, with just the two of us, kind of like on a team with a couple of computers, and I feel like we made it pretty far. It was fun. I actually liked that way more than the other mode.
Yeah, that mode's more challenging, and
it was tough, but it was also like you have to play cooperative, like we're always on the same team, versus like the other one, like it's at his age, it's hard for me to play a game where I'm against him, because
you just win.
I don't just want to win. I don't want to crush him, but then it's also like it's weird to like just not play it as much or do the same things. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Gotcha.
But what about you? How was your week in life and gaming?
Probably the same in life. Very relief about the plumbing situation. A birthday party, obviously, as well. Very fun. Enjoyed it. And then for gaming, I had a lot more fun this time with Fortnite. I mean, I know we kind of like gave it some rating last week, right? And I stand by those ratings. I really like it. But the one thing that made it different this week was because we get to play with people we know. So we form a quad, right?
Yeah.
And then also I did that Fortnite session with some Twitch friends. I think it was a session organized by It's Alley Cat.
Yep, that's her handle on, I think, Twitch and Twitter.
Yeah. So that was like to bring newbies to play Fortnite with her, as well as a mom's Fortnite out with my mommy friends on Twitch/Twitter. That was really fun. Just an hour of playing this with fellow moms while daddy goes on dad duty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you did a lot of Fortnite with other people
Yeah.
this week. Like, not just me in our
Not just
session,
you.
but yeah, you had 2 gaming sessions with other parents.
Yes. And other moms. So
Yeah, other moms, I should say.
that was fun. Like, because one thing about Fortnite is you have that in-game chat, right? And it was just fun. If it's not about winning, it's more about that rapport you build with other moms who are gamers. So I really enjoyed that. So that was for Fortnite. And then I also played World of Warcraft. I managed to do, like, I think 5 Mythic Plus dungeons. And
Wow,
they
that's
were
a lot.
I know.
In 1 week.
And they were like all 6.
Plus 6
plus 6
or
or plus
more?
7. Yeah. I think 7 was my max for last week. But yeah, that's unusual for me because I rarely do Mythic Plus dungeons. And then this time I thought to myself, like, heck, why not? I didn't do any raids like Kevin did because I have no patience waiting for the queue and stuff like that, or like dying all over
usually
again.
you die a lot more
Yeah.
in raids.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a lot more people, and the bosses are a lot harder.
Mm-hmm.
Mechanics are a lot harder,
Exactly.
and yeah, I don't know. It just takes a little more patience.
Exactly. And I also played a new game by myself
Ooh,
without
do tell.
you. Now, I'm going to talk about this game a bit longer.
Okay.
Not as long as our ratings. So it's a game on Game Pass that was released like recently. I think it was either the week before, or actually it was like last month.
Yeah, it looks like the beginning of January actually. So it's been a month.
Yeah, so I thought it looked kind of cool based on the picture, like it's a survival kind of game and it's a plane crash. You
It kind
survive.
of looked like Raft to me, which we never played, but saw a little bit of and got recommendations for.
Yeah, and it's like in the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
Not actually the best game to play right before you're going on a long flight over the Pacific Ocean.
Well, this is perfect because if anything happens, like now you know what to do, right?
No, I know.
Like now you know you could at least survive a couple of days.
Yeah.
If you
A
do
couple
get
of days.
stranded on a deserted island.
Yeah. So about that, playing this game made me realize that the longest I could survive was 4 days. Just 4, because
Like what? How do you die? Like what? I mean, I guess you could die like
from
a
poisoning.
lot of different ways.
Yeah.
But like, what was it that would get you?
So the sharks would get you.
Sharks. So that's only if you go in the water, right?
Yeah. Or even the crabs could hurt you. I started getting poisoned. I mean,
Poison? How did you get poisoned?
so I stepped on one kind of poisonous coral or something.
Oh,
Or
coral.
starfish. I don't know what it
Starfish,
was.
yeah.
Like, it was something that's spiky at the bottom of the
Sea urchin, maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. But it was a poisonous one. And, like, I had to figure out so much stuff. Like, how do I collect stuff to heal myself? And then I realized, like, I couldn't save the game. Like, the first time. I played it, like, 4 different times. And yet, the longest I've stayed alive was 4 days. And the fastest I've died is in 2 days.
Like even if you don't eat or drink anything, I'm pretty sure you could survive 2 days.
I know, right?
That island is a dangerous place, obviously.
Yeah. So the thing is, things get depleted on the island, right?
Get depleted?
Yeah, like after you keep harvesting the same things over and over again, then you need to figure out a way to like plant stuff. You need to figure out how to hunt.
How big is the island? Is it like
It's
really small?
but there's nearby islands that you can go to, like small islands, and
Yeah,
then
there's probably sharks between
yes,
you and there.
yeah, and then you can like search shipwrecks and whatnot that happen to be nearby as well.
Ooh, find some of that pirate booty.
Yeah, I know. But it was just also stressful because number one, if you go under the sun for too long, you get UV burns, there's boils.
Like blisters and
Yeah,
stuff?
blisters
Oh, man.
on your skin. And then I have to go to the shade. Yeah, and then there's bats at night, and then there's storm.
Bats? I didn't know bats live on islands.
Oh yeah, they do.
This is like a cave or something?
Maybe there's a cave somewhere. I don't know. Or maybe in different islands there's a cave. Who knows? They're just trying to make it as, scary. It reminds me of Grounded, like survival skills and everything. Only that I prefer the Grounded graphics.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you there. I
Yeah.
watched you play a little bit of it, and it didn't seem that well put together.
Yeah, it's like
You wouldn't, like, when you go to, like, grab your raft, right?
Yeah.
And, like, you're not even using your hands.
Yeah,
to,
we're
like,
just standing there.
you just, like, stand there, and then you're moving, and the raft's, like, following you.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was, I feel like someone could have done a little bit better.
Yeah. And I played it in first person mode and third person mode. I prefer the first person mode.
Really?
Because the third person mode was like so stiff.
Yeah,
like, you're just
I
standing
think in
there.
third person mode you notice those
Bad
the things that I feel like in first person mode it hides like some of the movements of like your character and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we notice some of those issues more in third person for sure.
Yeah. And then the tutorial wasn't that direct. Like a lot of times I had to Google on how to get certain things done, and by the time I Google, it was too late.
Did you pause it? Or what do you mean it was too late?
It was too late, as in like I probably like ran out of supplies already and stuff. Like I played up till 4 days, but I couldn't save my gameplay, and I was like, okay, until when do I start saving my game? And then I realized that I need to build a shelter before I could save, kind of like in Grounded where you need to have that sleeping spot.
Yeah, I know you need those to sleep in Grounded.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure you could just save the game normally, or do you need to use that to save? I don't remember.
For this one you need to use the shelter to save, and they don't tell me how to get the shelter, and I had to Google.
Yeah,
So
well,
that
that's
was frustrating.
Tutorials are supposed to show you all the basics, especially like how to save the game.
Yeah.
If you need something special, it's just to do that.
Like when I got poisoned on the first day I landed, you can't cure yourself because you need level 3 craftsmanship.
You
And
have
to
to
get
be like, really careful, like when you first start. To, like,
exactly.
Don't step on anything poisonous. Don't be attacked by anything.
Don't break your bones. I fell off a coconut tree and
Ooh, ouch! And broke your bones.
yes, it broke my bones, and I needed higher level crafting or
Yeah,
something.
at that point, I just be like, let's just start
just
fresh.
die.
We're just gonna start over again, day one. Let's go.
I know. So it's been like I've played it over
You're
and
a
over
poor
again.
character. Jeez.
So there's also a way to change the mode. Like you could play just story, like creative mode, where you don't die, you're invincible.
Yeah, like hunger doesn't exist, thirst
Yeah.
doesn't exist.
it's not
Everything,
fun.
every living thing is super friendly to you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the sun doesn't harm you.
yeah. I don't know.
That's boring though. It's not realistic enough,
Yeah,
So you might as well be playing Sims in that.
true.
Yeah, so I don't know. I enjoyed it, but it's not something I would keep playing. The repeatability is pretty low, especially since I could not survive out there on my own.
Mhm.
So,
Well, also, we haven't played it together yet.
oh yeah, you could play online
co-op,
or
yeah.
local co-op 2-person, but yeah. Yeah, I think I played 4 days worth of it.
And
4
how
nights.
long is like one in-game day? How long is that in real life days or minutes?
I don't know. That's a good question, because the last time I played it, which was 2 days, but I managed to sleep because I built a shelter. So sleeping kind of like fast forward it in a sense.
Oh, right. I guess that kind of confuses things a little bit more.
Kind of
But-
like in Grounded where it's suddenly you sleep and then like
That's true. And if somebody asked me that
Why?
same question about Grounded, even though I've played it a ton, I probably couldn't answer them of how long one day is.
Yeah. But that's about my gaming this week. I think that's
Well, it's cool. I'm proud of you for trying a new game and putting some hours into that, and then talking about it and sharing it with everybody. That is awesome. So if we are done with our weeks, we can go over new game releases.
yes.
Okay, new games this last week. We have Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition on Xbox Series X and S and Xbox One. We have Season, A Letter to the Future on PS5, PS4, and PC. SpongeBob SquarePants, The Cosmic Shake on PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. We have Valiant Hearts Coming Home on iOS and Android. We have We Were Here Forever on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One. Football Manager 2023 on PS5. Chef Life, a restaurant simulator on all consoles and PC. Deliver Us Mars on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Life is Strange 2 on Switch. Tales, The Backbone Preludes on PC. And lastly, The Pathless on Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and Switch. Now, I noticed Age of Empires 2 on Xbox. I have only ever known Age of Empires games on PC, not on console. So I don't know if that's a first or if they've been around on consoles and I just never knew that. But pretty much any like RTS game like feels like it belongs on PC to me and not on consoles. But I do like the Age of Empires game, so that's cool. Also, Chef Life, a restaurant simulator, that sounded kind of fun. That reminds me of, brought me back to our Overcooked days. That was still one of my like favorite times in everything we've been doing with the podcast and streaming and all the games that we played. Overcooked, that was so fun. I remember we would laugh like crazy.
Yeah, or argue like crazy.
Yes, a little bit of both. Well, mostly just laughing, and even when we would fail, it'd be fun. And then Life is Strange 2.
On Switch.
Yeah, that's only on Switch though. So I don't know, is that True Colors or?
No, I don't think so.
That's something different. We might have to look into that. Because you did like Life is Strange.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so how about Game Pass games?
Right, let's go. New on Game Pass this week. Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition on console and cloud.
So day one drop?
Yep, you can play it. You can try it there. And JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R on console, PC, and cloud. Inculinati on console, PC, and cloud. Darkest Dungeon on console, PC, and cloud. And Grid Legends only on cloud.
Awesome. I don't think I know any of those except Age of Empires, but that's only on console and cloud, so we couldn't play that anyways.
Yeah.
But anyways, anything else to add before we tell people where they could find us?
Nope. I guess that is it.
All right. Then before we let you all go, just to go over where you can find us out there in the big world of the internet. Over on Twitch, you can find us at twitch.tv/gamerparentspod, where we stream every single Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Last week, we streamed Fortnite. Don't know what we're going to stream this next week, but if you come out and show up, you will definitely find out. And you will also definitely have a good time and hopefully some laughs along with us. You can also find us on YouTube, the Gamer Parents Podcast channel, where we have all of our podcast episodes, as well as every major platform, wherever you're listening to this. You can also find us over on Twitter at twitter.com/gamerparentspod.
And on Instagram at gamer_parents_podcast.
Give us a like, follow, subscribe, whatever it is, wherever it is, and we would greatly appreciate it. You could even give us a review on Apple Podcasts. If you are liking what you hear and you want to give us a rating and a review, that would be super duper amazing. Also, the best place to come and hang out with us would most definitely be our Discord channel, where we talk about life and gaming and just everything that we've got going on. It's also where we will typically play games with other people using the voice chats in the Discord. So if you're interested in coming and hanging out with us, we would be happy to meet you, and that's probably the best place to do that.
Yeah.
Discord is amazing. We love Discord.
Yeah, and the community within it.
Yes, definitely. We're always trying to build that up and add more people and let everybody have a good time. But that's it for episode 54. We will see y'all next time.
Bye.